Today's country and your all-time favorites, 95.1 The Bull. Tyler Hubbard of FGL fame there on his own with Dancing in the Country. 7:40 here on the Morning Roundup as we're, happy-go-lucky dancing around here this morning with the sun shining upon us and temps in around the 50s here. Not too bad there, but of course with the change of the seasons, we also want to talk about some other things happening here locally within our community and in the region as well. And to join us here this morning from Iowa State Patrol, I've got Tom Williams joining us here this morning. Tom, thanks for taking the time to join us. Appreciate it.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's kind of jump right into things here as we are getting into the season here with a lot of things to keep in mind, especially with this month here is very important for traffic safety among those specific demographic of people. Tom, let's talk about this.
So May is National Youth Traffic Safety Month. With that, we have a lot of proms either just happened or are going to happen, and obviously graduation coming up. So I just wanted to talk about the traffic safety as pertaining to our teen drivers.
Something that's worth always restating as we get here into this time of the month as well. What are some of the things that kids should be aware of as we're going into it?
And I touched on it a bit last month, but we're seeing an increase in teen drivers involved in fatality accidents across the state. Specifically, the 14 to 19-year-olds, we've seen the last 3 years from 2020 to 2022, we've seen a 3-year high in those teens involved in fatality accidents, not necessarily killed, but involved in them driving or whatever. Last year, there were 338 fatalities in Iowa. 45 of those were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's about 10%.
Wow. That's, again, it's just one too many. Would you say maybe possibly a factor of it would have been due to like maybe the COVID pandemic might have had a little bit of something to do with it? Or is it just something that's just, you're just constantly seeing like in the measures over the past couple of years?
So obviously COVID was in 2020, and this is where we started seeing it. And once COVID hit, the driver's ed shifted from in class to online.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have no proof. This is my opinion. I have no stats to back it up other than these stats that I'm looking at right now. But from 2020 to 2022 is when we're seeing that spike. Okay. Prior to COVID, as a public resource officer, I was going into many schools in my district, teaching a block of instruction during their driver's ed. I've lost all schools except 2.
That's just unfortunate. Why that would be?
Because they've all went online.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But
now, to break that down a little farther, and again, I touched on that last month. Last year alone, 2022, we had a 9-year, it was the deadliest year in the last 9 years for the 14 to 16-year-old permit holder. Okay. So of the, from 14 to 2014 to 2023, 2022 was the deadliest year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the 14 to 19-year-olds, that permit holder, the 14 to 16-year-old, made up 42.2% of total fatal crashes involving those 14 to 19-year-olds. So that very young driver, inexperienced driver, we're seeing a huge increase in involvement in fatality accidents.
Speaking with Iowa State Patrol Trooper Tom Williams joining us here this morning, here on the Morning Roundup, 95.1 The Bull. What would be some of the ways that we can help our younger demographic here into?
In my opinion, get them back in the classroom. Get them off online. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but parents can play a huge role. Parents, they're the biggest influencer in their kid's life. They play the biggest role in their kid's future. Get them out driving. These kids have no experience. They need the more time, just with anything else in life, the more we do it, the better we become at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so parents need to take the initiative and get them out as driving as much as possible.
Absolutely. And I've learned with experience doing driving at a young age, probably one of the easiest ways to kind of do those, especially with the parents, is just take them out to like one of the local park areas. There's plenty of like roads to just drive around, do some practicing, do what you need to do there.
Right.
That's just one method of doing that. And of course, highway driving is also a very big step into
Right.
Improving that as well. Any other thoughts?
Well, just what I've run into lately, excuses why this isn't getting done. Either, and it goes both ways, the kid and the parent. You know, I've heard their schedules don't line up. I've heard I don't trust my kid, so he's not going to drive my car, or I bought a new car. Whatever the excuse is, they need to be behind the wheel to get experience to drive.
Interaction is just the
Yes.
main primary thing we can do to help improve.
Yep.
Definitely. Tom Williams joining us here this morning from Iowa State Patrol, talking about National Youth Traffic Safety Month here. Any further thoughts you wanted to share with us before we?
Well,
roll
like I
along here?
said, we got proms and graduation. You know, it's exciting time, you know, this time of year with all that stuff going on, but it can be also a very dangerous and deadly time. So, again, there's parties going on. Just, I'm talking to the youth here. If you are going to partake in any alcohol, even though you shouldn't, get a sober ride home, call your parent, call a friend if you're scared to call your mom and dad, but get a sober ride home.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to face the music. If something happens, be honest, tell the parent, and you move on.
Move on. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
For further information and resources, we can learn more in support of National Youth Traffic Safety Month here. How can we learn more?
Yep.
Tom?
You can go to the GTSB, Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau website. They have a lot of stats that I've been working real close with them lately. That's where I'm getting all my stuff. And these stats that I've shared this morning, they are like, I got them with like last month. So they're new. I post stuff regularly on my Facebook page, or my Twitter account. And once in a while, I'll post something on Facebook, but mostly Twitter or the Iowa State Patrol Facebook page or the GTSB website.
Okay, well, sounds good. One more final thought that I did have as well here as we get into the seasons, the months ahead, of course. Any updates on the High Five project? You guys are still working on that?
Still working on that in Mitchell County. Yeah, I think I thought I seen something here last week or two about another project going on, but I can't be 100% certain on that. But
okay, well, we'll definitely follow up with you on that.
Yeah, that's definitely still going on. So,
and of course, as we get into, I'm sure, the month of May, when we have Memorial Day weekend coming up, you guys will be doing more monitoring on some of the major highways, secondary roads.
Yep.
As well.
Yes. Also, for local people here, Highway 9 in Howard County at Robin Avenue, that bridge is out. Sounds like it's going to be out most of the summer. The
yes.
detour goes south to Schley, and then on 846. The traffic has increased quite a bit out there, and so have speeds. So I just ask people to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, we will follow up with Iowa DOT. Pete Helmstead will be one of our guests here later in the week, and we'll get an update on that as well. But Tom Williams joining us here this morning on the Morning Roundup from Iowa State Patrol. Thank you for joining us here this morning and sharing more information on what's going on for Youth Traffic Safety Month.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. 6:50 here on the Morning Roundup. Another community conversation will be around the corner here. Right now, Parker McCollum here on 95.1 The Bull.